here is, and this is not safe for work, ladies and gentlemen. There is some swearing involved in this. I should tell you right now.
Some radical politics.
This guy's always been pretty good. Ron Pearlman, member of SAG-AFTRA. I am also a member of SAG-AFTRA. I will be. My plan is to get down to the picket lines on Thursday, so maybe I'll be calling in. That's the plan as it stands now. Subject to change because of all sorts of various complications that I cannot speak to at this point. But nevertheless, SAG-AFTRA on strike, 160,000 striking against those producers who signed the television and film contracts. My understanding is that there is an independent, would necessarily be low budget contract that signatories can sign with SAG, which they will still be doing those productions if they sign the the temporary agreement. So maybe there'll be maybe we'll get like if this goes on long enough, we'll see like a burgeoning sort of independent sort of resurgence, as it were. Here is actor Ron Pearlman on the SAG strike and the producers who have been just really reprehensible in the way they've been talking about the SAG and the WGA strikes.
One thing before I get off this. The motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial, some of it is karma, and some of it is just figuring out who the fuck said that. And we know who said that, and where he fucking lives. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 fucking million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, motherfucker. Be really careful. Because that's the kind of shit that stirs shit up. Peace out.
I don't think he really meant the peace out part.
Yeah. What a badass. It's important that actors that have that cachet have some money in the bank say that kind of stuff, because the actors making, poverty wages essentially can't.
Well, that's the fascinating thing about what we're seeing with this strike. Also with the writer strike, and I'm basing this based upon both the writer strike from 2008 and past strikes with actors. The big names that you see that are coming out, the big names, they don't need the union at this point, and they may not have needed the union for decades, the truth be told. But they are showing solidarity with their younger selves, and the vast majority of people in the union, frankly, who don't know if they're going to get a job in 2 months, 6 months, in 18 months or whatnot. Even if they do, and particularly now things have flattened, so there's no real FU money in the way that there used to be for people there. And there is so much work that goes in before you see pay. Auditioning, the hustle and this and that, and then maybe doing shows that really don't pay you that much, and then doing shows that don't even pay you enough that at the end of the year you can get health insurance. So you're always working 2 jobs for a long time. And the difference we're really seeing in both these strikes is that the people who know that they're going to lose money from this and don't need the union are showing solidarity with their union. And that is, I think, it is of this era.
Yeah. I mean, I see this in sports too, with when the NFLPA or other labor unions, which are required for these leagues to have antitrust exemptions, when they stand with players that are making, you know, league minimum or whatever, it's most important when those people stand with them as well, because, you know, you'll see these claims of hypocrisy when it's in fact the complete opposite. Like, you know, the highest paid athletes, the highest paid actors, they're the outlier, and the reason that they're speaking out is just because they've achieved the pinnacle of their profession and they're trying to not burn the bridge behind them, God forbid.
Yeah.
And like, it's a high profile example of labor solidarity that I think is some of the most helpful stuff that we're seeing, because it's getting into the zeitgeist.
Yeah, and our society is just really bad at, and the media is really bad at conveying what's going on to people. Like, everybody talks about how highly paid, like, for instance, basketball players are.
Yeah.
And it's like, those contracts have gone up, but guess what the share of the labor percentage versus the ownership percentage has actually gone down. Owners are nearly at 49%. They were much less, like, back in the old days. So, like, that's the actual key, is when Pearlman says, like, getting all of those millions for making nothing, like, that's people who sit in those ownership positions, like, they do nothing.
With the NFL, median salary $860K, and then the average year of playing is like 4 or 5 years, and then what do you do with the rest of your life? Like,
with a broken body.
I mean, now we're making it about sports, but the point is just like it's complete. Like, these trade publications like Deadline, Screw You, who cover this stuff, they're so pro management, and they really they flatten these, they flatten the power dynamics, and they make it about like, oh, these privileged actors, when the reality is just so much different than how it's portrayed. It's the same thing in sports.
But actors, like, similar, like, I bet that age window of, like, the peak earning years is similar. It's a bit wider than athletes.
Unless you
For
get
women?
huge.
Yeah.
Well, for women, without a doubt.
Exactly.
Unless you get huge.
Yeah.
And even with women, if you get huge, but unless you get huge, it is not not long to make real money like that, big money.